Well, good evening and welcome to TV47's Daily Report. Now, soldiers from the Kenyan Army continue to be deployed to several counties in the northern Kenya. That is due to the increase in attacks by cross-border criminal networks of bandits. And of course, the cattle rustlers are equal therein. So the banditry, or yet banditry, continues to be a persistent concern that is causing immense suffering and loss of life. Elgeyo Marakwet, West Pokot, Baringo, Laikipia, Turkana, and Samburu, of course, spilling over to other parts of the country. Tonight, the People's Court will be looking at that. Welcome on board. My name is Linda Lela.
And my name is George Maringa. For decades, the country has dealt with banditry in various parts of the country, especially in the northern part. And this has, of course, caused various governments year in, year out to deploy various measures. On the People's Court tonight, we interrogate and try to find out, is there any end in sight? We invite your feedback right here on the People's Court. I shall be speaking to two gentlemen who have been in the service trying to pick their minds on what exactly needs to be done. At George Maringa _ on X, formerly Twitter. Our SMS lines are also open 22047. We look forward to your feedback.
Right, and as my colleagues have said, this is a conflict seemingly from time immemorial. A conflict well steeped into the culture and lifestyles of these people. But tonight we have to ask a few questions. Are we looking at it the wrong way? Is this a cultural situation? Is this a political situation? Is this mere criminality? What is it? Some say it's the politicians that stir the pot. Some say it's the security people that are lax. And others still say it's all about culture. Let culture proceed unabated, unstopped. We want to find out exactly what is the root or some of the roots of this conflict and exactly what interventions should work. All this and more tonight on the People's Court. But first, George Maringa, bring you the highlights.
Tonight, excessive payrolls, outdated manual payroll processes, and the presence of ghost workers are the main reasons for financial waste in the counties. The ongoing doctors' strike enters its 34th day, with their union declaring their intention to escalate protests with weekly demonstrations.
And every Tuesday we will be on the streets to demonstrate. Every Tuesday.
With the government maintaining there is progress in lowering the cost of living, we ask Kenyans what they think about that. We thank you for choosing TV47 to inform you. The wonderful Catherine Simaloy is on sign language interpretation tonight. We are streaming on our website as well as our YouTube channel, and we also welcome our viewers joining us on terrestrial platforms. Now, the doctors' strike has entered its 34th day, with the Doctors' Union announcing that they will now hold weekly demonstrations dubbed Maandamano Tuesday, as the Council of Governors moves to threaten medics of possible layoffs. Elizabeth Atieno worked with the health workers during today's protests and now reports.
On Tuesday, different health unions, including that of doctors, clinicians, and laboratory officers, held their mega demos as they seek an audience with the government. The Doctors' Union now says that moving forward, they will be holding weekly protests.
And every Tuesday we will be on the streets to demonstrate. Every Tuesday.
Today's protest began at the Kenyatta National Hospital grounds to the Ministry of Health headquarters and ended at the Council of Governors offices, where the medics expressed their anger after governors failed to address them. This despite the governors holding a press briefing moments before the doctors arrived.
But all the governors have run away. All the governors have disappeared.
The Council of Governors has now declared that any health officer who has absconded duty for more than 3 weeks will be laid off, as KMPDU insists that they will not be intimidated by the threats.
If you abscond duty for more than 21 days, the county governments and the national governments are given the responsibility to take action.
Threatening us with the dismissal, I would say, is like threatening a frog in a river water.
COG Chair Governor Anne Waiguru now says that doctors are well paid than some government public officers, further terming the industrial strike hypocritical, and that counties will need more funds to meet the doctors' demands.
That this would have a ripple effect on all civil servants' basic pay and will therefore require additional allocation of resources to county governments to be able to carry out this task.
Look at their own wages before they tell us that the wage bill is ballooning. And as healthcare workers today, we are saying we are ready to get into this balloon and burst with this balloon.
Health services have been paralyzed at the Busia County Referral Hospital after nurses downed their tools demanding to be paid 90 million Kenya shillings as lump sum as 900 nurses decry delayed promotions.
Ya kwamba sisi tukiamua mgomo hakuna kurudi wapi? Nyuma. Na hii ni dispute ambayo imefuatwa njia zote, kanuni zote za kisheria.
On Wednesday, the Employment and Labor Relations Court is expected to make its ruling on the ongoing doctors' strike following the lapse of the 14 days granted for the doctors and the government to hold dialogue. Elizabeth Atieno, TV47, Nairobi.
Thank you, Elizabeth, for that. Bloated payrolls, manual payroll systems, and ghost workers are the reasons for wastage in counties. In a report by the Controller of Budget, Margaret Nyakango, during the second day of the National Wage Bill Conference, counties have not managed to stay within the legal threshold of 35% of their revenue for expenditure on wages. Sheila Chelangat now reports.
The Controller of Budget, Margaret Nyakango, has singled out the areas where wastage of public funds takes place the most, revealing shocking statistics of how impunity has led to massive wastage, and especially at the county level.
For instance, that Kericho had 40.4% of their total budget on allowances. Those are the county assemblies, the ones who oversight the county governments.
Unauthorized payments by counties and manipulation of payment data being attributed to the wastage in these devolved units.
We've noted that in the 2022-2023, majority of entities audited by our office had modified audit opinions. For the county governments, it was at exactly 94%. Meaning that it's on the higher quartile that we are having persons who are preparing financial statements doing a poor job.
Kitui County topped counties with the highest ratio of wages to revenue, where only 25% of its revenue is left for development. Kisii, Garissa, Busia and Nyamira also use more than 70% of their revenue in paying off wages.
And I've seen, especially in the manual payrolls, you will find literally tens and tens of casuals in one department. And if I ask them what those casuals are doing on a day-to-day basis, what they do for 8 hours a day, there is no answer.
Hence the call by the Controller of Budget to have sustainable strategies for accountability as they strive to have wages not exceed 35% of the total revenue.
Can we limit new hiring in the medium term? Yes, and especially when we look at the counties, we can see that hiring needs to be stopped for a while as we organize ourselves.
This was revealed on the second day of the National Wage Bill Conference that is set to come to a close tomorrow, with President William Ruto expected to grace the function. Sheila Chelangat for TV47.
Thank you, Sheila, for that. In a nation where economic stability is not just a goal but a necessity for livelihoods, the spotlight falls squarely on the state of the economy under the stewardship of the Kenya Kwanza government. Amid promises of alleviating the burden on its citizens, the government, led by President Dr. William Ruto, has embarked on a journey of fiscal reform aiming to reduce the cost of living, enhance revenue generation, and manage the country's debt responsibly. But are the government's measures truly working? Anne Odida with that analysis.
Even as the government maintains that it has made strides in bringing down the cost of living, according to Kenyans, this is yet to be felt.
Kama serikali angetusaidia sisi kama watu wenye tuko na biashara chini chini ama hustlers, azidi kupunguza because bado tunaumia.
Ukitaka kuboresha maisha ya wananchi wote, ningependa uweke mafuta 120 per liter, alafu diesel ikuwe 98, mafuta taa ikuwe 82. Hata kama taxi ikuwe juu, wananchi wanasikia vizuri.
President William Ruto had made it clear that his government is committed to building the economy by increasing revenue collection, reducing government spending, and ensuring the country is able to repay its debts and live within its means. But even with the state of the economy as it is at the moment, the government has indicated that it prides itself in being able to ease the burden on Kenyans in terms of the cost of food, inflation, and management of the debt situation in the country. The latest development in the steps the government has undertaken in terms of reviving the economy is the reduction of the cost of fuel products as announced by the Energy Petroleum Regulatory Authority on April 14. Since the time the government started reviewing down the cost of fuel in November last year, April has had the highest reduction of the prices by up to 18 Kenyan shillings. When the government removed fuel subsidies which were meant to caution Kenyans from the high prices of food as part of its economic reform agenda, there was mass disapproval by the public, with the opposition leading in organizing protests over the high cost of living. So what do pundits think about the current situation?
There's a reprieve, but a small change in terms of reduction of cost of fuel is not going to undo a year of suffering or 2 years or 3 years of suffering doing business in Kenya. So I think it's a welcome move, of course based on market dynamics of demand and supply. But I think we still need something more needs to be done to ensure that the cost of doing business in Kenya is lowered and is efficient for our small businesses, small entrepreneurs to be able to operate efficiently and make an economic living.
While there might be strides made, Kenyans are still feeling the pinch of having to pay higher taxes as compared to when the previous regime was in charge. The latest one being the reinstatement of the 1.5% housing levy deductions, as well as the 2.75% remittance to the Social Health Insurance Fund, SHIF, from July 1st, which is expected to reflect a drop on Kenyans' payslips. This begging the question, are the government's efforts truly providing relief to its citizens? Anne Odida, TV 47.
Thank you, Anne, for that. Two prominent leaders are Now let's get at that once again, where there are two prominent leaders as well as a raft of accomplices are in trouble with the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, EACC, over claims of embezzlement of public funds. Former Director General of the National Museums of Kenya, Mzalendo Kibunja, has been charged with embezzlement of 490 million shillings, funds the EACC insists in a statement that they will recover. Former Governor of Murang'a, Mwangi wa Iria, is also expected to answer the Commission's summons on Wednesday after the anti-graft body claimed that he, his wife, and his accomplices were evading arrest. Kisewa Emery reports.
The long arm of the law has caught up to two high-profile individuals. Plastered in the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission's social media pages, the Commission announced the arrest of the former Director General of the National Museums of Kenya, Mzalendo Kibunja, along with three other accomplices who are alleged to have stolen 490 million Kenya shillings. Just minutes after that bombshell, the Commission dropped another, with former Murang'a Governor Mwangi wa Iria, his wife, and 6 other suspects summoned for processing at Integrity Center. However, the former governor asked to reschedule to Wednesday, a request the Commission granted.
But today we have agreed with the Anti-Corruption Commission to present Governor wa Iria tomorrow at 8 a.m. in the morning to start the process. They have made the position clear that that process is going to end up in court.
The anti-graft body has been conducting investigations touching on a complaint regarding allegations of procurement irregularities and conflict of interest in the award of publicity tenders by the county government of Murang'a.
We have given our undertaking that our client will be presented before the commission for processing and onward transmission for other court processes tomorrow. And that is the only basis upon which we have been able to secure our day tomorrow.
We really want to thank the commission, although the police were in hot pursuit, that the commission has been reasonable and agrees with that unless there is a summon, you can always present yourself as a free Kenyan and go through the process.
Mzalendo Kibunja and his alleged accomplices weren't so lucky, however, with them being arraigned in court. Kibunja, alongside 4 other individuals, were arraigned before Senior Principal Magistrate Victor Kumile, where they were charged with conspiracy to commit offense of corruption, abuse of office, money laundering, acquisition of proceeds of crime, and financial misconduct, among other counts. They denied all counts and were released on a bond of 5 million shillings each. Kisawa Emory, TV47.
Thank you, Kisewa Emory, for that report, which leads us to our first short commercial break. When we come back, we have more on the other side. Remember, as well as is the norm, every Tuesday, we bring you the People's Court, where we look at banditry in the north. Is there any end in sight? All our guests are already in the premises. Do stand by for that conversation coming your way in a short while. We're back in a few minutes.
Promoting insurance awareness with Insurance Regulatory Authority. Third-party insurance is mandatory under the law. It covers death or bodily injury to passengers, death or bodily injury to pedestrians, and damage to third-party property. Third-party
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. You're watching the Daily Report. Let's continue where the Committee on Defense, Intelligence and Foreign Relations has rejected the nomination of Charles Githinji as Consul General to Goma, the Democratic Republic of Congo. In a report tabled before the House today afternoon by the committee chairman, Nelson Koech, the MPs rejected Mr. Githinji due to lack of knowledge on the area to which he has been nominated to. Further, the committee now wants future nominees for the position of Consul Generals vetted after their nominations before approval by the National Assembly. Meanwhile, the committee approved all other 25 nominees, saying they demonstrated technical abilities.
Our Canada. Lieutenant General Peter Mbogo Njiru as High Commissioner Islamabad, Pakistan. Ambassadors, Honorable Frederick Otieno Outa, Cairo, Egypt. Professor Anne Kisaka Nangulu, Dakar, Senegal. Mr. Timothy Kaluma Mcharo, Algiers, Algeria. Honorable Christopher Andrew Langat, Abidjan, Cote d'Ivoire, rejects the appointment of Mr. Charles Girinji Keiru as Consul General, Goma, Democratic Republic of Congo, and 3, resolves that henceforth Consuls Generals should undergo vetting after their nomination by appointing authority, and that the appointing authority recalls the serving Consuls General not vetted for the vetting and approval by the National Assembly.
Now, emotions ran high at Kariri Kania village in Kuresoi North, Nakuru County during the burial of 7 family members who died in the Salama accident along the Nairobi-Mombasa highway. The 7 met their death on April 1st, 2024. Chichi Josephine with more.
A somber mood engulfed Kariri Kania village of Kuresoi North in Nakuru County during the burial of 7 family members who died in a road crash at Salama along Nairobi-Mombasa highway on April 1st.
Dad, we honor you and we honor your life you have lived. We aspire to carry forward your legacy of making a positive impact on others through our own journey.
We wish we had just one more chance to see your tender smile, to laugh with you again, our dear sisters and brothers, just for a little while.
These 7, including Francis Macharia, 61 years, Irene Wangombe, 37 years, and their 3 children, Joyce Werimo, Joyce Muthoni, and Lemmy Macharia, Esther Nyambura, and Esther Wanjiru Macharia, were given an emotional send-off, attended by Nakuru Governor Susan Kika, who promised to offer a helping hand to the remaining family members.
Niseme mimi pole sana kwa familia. Sana. You know, it's really overwhelming. But pia niseme, I talked to one of my friends in the family, nilipokuja, na you told me if there is any way we can help, would me perhaps tuchukue kama watoto wawili so that we ease the burden in the family. But I want to promise you that at least 2 children, we shall, if nothing else, tuchukue tu watoto wawili ili tuweze kusaidia familia kidogo.
6 members of the family died on the spot in the accident that took place on April 1st, 2024, while Joyce Muthoni died on April 7 while receiving treatment at a Nairobi hospital.
It's hard to accept the death of a loved one, especially when you didn't have the chance to say goodbye, especially when the deceased was taken suddenly and so shockingly at the prime of life.
The survivors of the tragic accident, Shadrack Kambao, Daniel Washuri, Samuel Macharia, James Karanja, and Samuel Macharia were also present at the funeral. The accident occurred when the vehicle ferrying the family members was involved in an accident with 4 other vehicles. Chichi Josephine, TV 47.
May their souls rest in peace. Members of Parliament have raised concerns about the presidential directive on school fee payments through the eCitizen platform, pointing out areas that need clarification before it is fully implemented. In a meeting on Tuesday, the National Assembly's Education Committee highlighted unresolved issues related to the new payment method, further urging the Ministry of Education to conduct public consultations on the directive.
If you're saying the school heads are creating ghost students within another government system, NEMIS, what stops them from again creating ghost students within eCitizen?
Principal Secretary, State Department for Immigration and Citizen Services, Julius Bitok, was put to task on the efficiency of the eCitizen platform should the presidential directive on school fee payments through the platform be implemented.
What is driving the world right now is technology, and that is why Kenya Kwanza government is very keen on leveraging on technology to enhance service delivery, to close all the loopholes of corruption, and to ensure that all the monies that is due for government is collected as efficiently and with the most convenient and cheapest way possible.
The members of parliament sought to understand the efficiency of the system to ensure schools promptly receive funds for their daily operational needs, including payments to suppliers, support staff and other supplies. The committee further wondered how parents who traditionally pay school fees through non-monetary means such as firewood and livestock will be accommodated within the eCitizen platform.
How does our platform now quantify that the kuni that has come is for 10,000 shillings so that it can give a digital receipt?
There is an element of valuation which has to be done by the school for the in-kind kind of goods you are bringing. If you are bringing a mbuzi, we have to leave it to the benefit of doubt that the school will accurately give the value and give you a digital receipt for the in-kind that you give.
PS, you have to sit down and develop guidelines, because you cannot tell us that each principal will have to vary. You have to develop proper legal guidelines to guide the implementation of this particular program, because without guidelines, then it will be messy.
And as the issue awaits court's ruling, members of parliament want the Ministry of Education to conduct public consultations on the directive regarding